Now, let's take you to this story. There's no need for me to regale you with the hardships and inconvenience of rolling blackouts, but some may be much more vulnerable than most of us. The elderly are struggling to cope, and so eNCA's Nqobile Madlala is visiting old age homes in Durban. She's also finding out if the Social Development Department has any plans to help. Nqobile joins us now live to give us more details. Nqobile, as you go around visiting all these old age homes, what kind of situations are you finding because of load shedding?
Well, Masako, it's very difficult for many old people. You already know that as old people, when it's dark and there's no electricity, they have a sense of anxiety. They wouldn't know what will happen. Some of them are worried about their safety. They don't know what is happening. So there's a lot of fear around of what happens when it's dark and there's no power. But on top of that, what you have is schedules that are being affected. So most of these old people in the areas where they live, you find that they have certain times and routines when they get medicine. And so this becomes very difficult for them because when there's no power, this means that there's a delay in terms of the food that they are going to be getting. And this means that there's a delay then into the routine in terms of medication. But above that, there's also medication that needs to be restored, that needs to be stored in a refrigerator at certain temperatures. You'll know that insulin is one of those medications. And mostly old people find themselves having to use insulin. So this is also affecting their medication. And I mean, I spoke to Yvonne, who was speaking to us about the fact that she is already on a life. She's already on an oxygen machine, and this threatens her life because she has a certain amount of hours that she needs to be on the oxygen machine, as she's unable to breathe and get in the oxygen and out by herself. So now, when there's load shedding, this requires that be taken care of, but it means that they need things like that would recharge this machine, and that's what the old age homes at the moment cannot afford. Let's listen in.
Well, you can be on oxygen, and then the next thing is load shedding. Most of the time, we do know when we're going to have it. So it could be a bad time when the load shedding starts, and you're not feeling that you can breathe very well. It just depends. You know, I'm supposed to be on it 16 hours a day, not all in one go, but you can't always guarantee how your chest is going to be at any given time, so it is very difficult. And I think there are a lot of people out there that are suffering the same.
And Nqobile, what is the Social Development Department saying about this? Are they able to do anything to mitigate the problem?
Well, Maseko, they have said to us that the department already is faced with budget cuts, and this makes it very difficult for them to intervene in certain incidents like this, saying that they cannot give generators. But however, they say that they have seen the impact that this has on old age homes. They've seen the impact it has also on other people's livelihoods. They are aware of it. They're worried about it, and they're saying that their doors are open to have conversations with NPOs. But in terms of money and assistance at this point, their hands are tied. However, Maseko, you would know that some of the businesses as well in Durban have been suffering from this load shedding. Yesterday, we managed to speak to some of the restaurants that were also going through the same. And that's, of course, what the social development is talking about, livelihoods being affected. And we did manage to speak to Duncan, who also speaks on behalf of tourism. And he was just saying that there's a lot of ripple effects that comes from this load shedding, because it's not just the business front, but it's also the people that get affected, their schedules when they have to go home and so on. Let's listen to Duncan.
We're very affected by load shedding in general in South Africa at the moment, but particularly hard hit are the manufacturing sector, the retail sector and the hospitality sector, due to the fact that they have obviously extended times of trade in and around South Africa. They also have a patronage of people supporting them at different times out of the workplace environment hours. And I think that has caused a huge time of not only inconvenience, but a time of increased security with the infrastructure that is affected with load shedding at times, whether it be the public roads infrastructure or whether it be lighting on the streets. and also businesses to affordability to be able to meet the demands of their patrons with the increased cost of having generators or inverters in place to accommodate their customers.
All right, that was our reporter Nqobile Madlala live for us in our Durban offices. Let's leave it there for now.